So how has your day been?
Great, thank you.
Lovely.
Very happy to be here with you.
No,
Thank you
thank you
for
so much.
inviting me over.
Now, we are so glad because on my channel, I always talk about health, healthy eating, this and that. But it is so great to have a professional on the show telling people what's actually healthy food habits are about. So I must tell you all, as I just said, that Pia is a recipe creator, food and health blogger, integrative nutrition health coach, and a certified gluten-free practitioner. Short, you're going to get a lot of information in this video. Am I right, Pia?
Well, I hope so anyway. But for the record, really need to put the record straight. I am not a doctor. I am a health coach, holistic health coach. So it's a different approach, and
Of course.
people really should consult the doctors before doing anything drastic in their life. So
So true.
whether diet or exercise, whatever. So.
So true, so true. Thank you for clearing that up. So, you're a holistic health coach, as you said, and you're a gluten free chef, if I'm right?
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, it
And
all
you're
started because of my own journey, in fact. So,
fair. And you're also creator of a blog that is Go Healthy with Bia. So, it might
yeah.
be quite a journey so far. And, you must be knowing what is the importance of healthy eating. So, please share with us and share your journey with us as well.
Well, like I said, it all started with my own journey because when I was 25, now I'm 41. When I was 25, I was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, which is a form of arthritis, an autoimmune disease. And looking back, I realized that I had my first symptoms when I was 8, and a lot of symptoms again in my teenage years. But the final diagnosis only came when I was 25. So at that time, I didn't know any better. So I had having a diagnosis really felt like a relief because I finally had a word on my pain. So when my doctor told me you're going to suffer from this disease all your life and you have to take painkillers all your life, well,
Yeah.
I just believed that, and then I took them for more than 10 years until one day, one thing led to another. So it will be way too long story to get into the details, but
We are there with you.
I started to think for myself, okay, I want to reduce the medication. I have realized that stress is a huge trigger for me. So I went to the library and I started to try to get some books on how to reduce the stress in my life. And then I found this book by a French doctor, and I followed everything he said in this book about exercising and taking omega-3. And I really saw a change of my mood, and also I started feeling much better.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, there's something definitely here, to do with natural healing instead of taking, antidepressant. Because at that time I was at the same time stressed out, but also I kind of always had some mild depression pretty much all my life. So it really changed my life. And I thought, okay, so this doctor in this book is telling us that in the end, with just some supplements and some food and exercise and some things like that, you don't need medication. So I need to document myself more about that. So I started documenting, and I spent all my free time doing this. And then, so I was ready to change really my point of view about taking all those painkillers. And I was in taking biotherapy for many years, which is medication that really stops the immune system, because the immune system is acting against your own body. So that's the principle behind that. So that was really a huge medication. I mean, it's really strong. I had so many side effects. The list is so long.
All the medicines come with so many side effects. People should try to avoid them, but sometimes we don't have a choice, do we?
Yeah. So I also was taking an SAID for maybe more than I think it was 11 years every day. So yeah, my stomach, my gut, they were all upside down. I mean, I had to take a lot of medications to be able to bear the side effects of the NSAID.
So basically, take the medicines, then take more medicines to cope with the side effects of the other medicines, and it's so frustrating in the end. But you feel healthy eating actually got you there.
Yeah, but the worst part for me is I always had a healthy diet, because I've always been passionate about food. We are obsessed with food at home.
I guess that's more disturbing then. And more depressing.
I had a mother who home cooked a lot. Pretty much everything was home cooked at home. I have a father who is he's been he's been working in the food industry for 50 years, so he knows everything about ingredients, and he taught us about how to read the ingredients and put aside what's good and what's bad. So I really had a healthy diet. I was well taught by my parents, so I did that at home. But part of it was, the medication, and also the environmental things, and the stress, and many things. I mean, being healthy is not just about what's on your plate. It's about many other things around you. When you have a job that doesn't suit you, or if you have a very stressful life, if you are in a toxic relationship. I am talking about from experience. So yeah, totally. I have experienced all of them, even the toxic relationship. So
all the emotions are coming out all together.
Yeah, but no, it's your unconscious mind is using your body to send you a signal that something is not right in your life.
True.
So you have to listen to your body, and it's a very tricky language. So, and most of the time we don't know how to decipher that. And until I broke up with this man, I had no idea that it was the problem. This relationship was at the source of my autoimmune disease going back really. Really strong, and I was already on my gluten whatever free from diet, so I had a very healthy diet, but it was absolutely no use because of that. So, and on the day I broke up with him, I slept like a baby after that.
Nice.
After spending 2 months not being able to sleep at all during the night, exactly back when before my diagnosis. So I was really at the point. I thought I was really considering going back to see my rheumatologist and begging him to put me back on biotherapy. So that's really, the diet is important, but
that's step one.
yeah, that's step one. One step, maybe you can,
Yeah,
you
like
know,
there's a
in
big
the end,
fear. Yeah.
I started by trying to manage my stress, and then in the end, my journey just,
Aha. Right.
you
So as
know,
you said, there is a sphere. Healthy diet is a part of it. Other things matter as well for a healthy living.
mhm,
But healthy
yeah,
diet helps to, maintain and balance those other spheres as well in some way. Did you realize
yeah.
it in your journey? That maybe, when you put good things in your tummy, there is good regulations in your body and it helps you make the right choices as well in some way.
Yeah, I think so. Because yeah, when you're taking care of your diet, you're taking care of yourself.
True,
It's like it's part of self-care.
true, true. That's
One
beautifully
way
said.
of you can take a hot bath. It will be a self-care, but
Yeah.
cooking a nice meal is also part of self-care.
As you said,
So
like work stress and everything, did you have that in your life as well? Like a lot of work stress, a lot of like relationship stress. We all have it in our lives, day-to-day lives. Everyone is suffering with something or another. And we just think by fixing one thing, everything else is going to be fine. But that's not the case, right? There should be a balance created in everything. What do you think?
yeah, I think we have to work on all of this. It's a ton of work. You have to try to balance the stress, really manage it. And my way of managing my stress was I finally realized that at one point in my life that most of my stress came from a lack of self-esteem or self-confidence.
Right.
And by working on building my self-confidence, when someone is asking you something that you can do very, very easily, you won't be stressed to do that.
True. True.
Right. But if you feel like you're not up to, to the task, you feel you're not sure enough about yourself being able to do that, you probably will begin stressing out, right?
True.
So
True.
that's really, really building my self-confidence kind of helped me reduce my stress.
Wow.
I'm still work in progress. So, and
We all
also,
are. We all are.
exercising, and you don't even need to really go to the gym or to run a marathon.
I
Just
agree. I
going for a
agree.
walk,
Yeah.
something or do a little bit of stretching or yoga is
Yeah.
really it's fine. And I like to say to people, do whatever you want to do. You have to enjoy what you are doing
True.
as much as you need to enjoy your food
So
also.
true. So true. Yeah. 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 Also, like, it's very interesting, as you mentioned, that your gut health was also in question at one point in your life. So
Yeah,
now have you actually answered that question that, okay, what is a good gut health? How to achieve it? How can we maintain it?
yeah. I'm still a work in progress for this, even though I started this whole journey. So it was back at January 2018.
Right?
So it's really hard because I had a leaky gut and dysbiosis along with Candida albicans, Candida overgrowth.
Oh,
So
goodness.
I had the whole package, and so I'm still working on it. But I really believe that my gut is much better. And so the problem is with gut health is. Yeah, it really depends on your diet, of course. Stress is also apparently studies have shown that stress can also have an impact on your gut
Of
health.
course.
So,
So
but
are there,
mainly,
yeah, are there any
mainly I
tips and
would say
tricks that, that
tips and
people can
tricks.
use?
Um, Yeah, that would be that's very specific from one people to another.
Cool.
So I can't really give a
A
general.
generic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too individual, and they need to work on this with their doctor, functional medicine doctor.
Okay.
They usually work on that. So yeah, to repair the gut, because when you have a leaky gut, the all the nutrients that your body should absorb, it doesn't absorb it, and it goes in the body instead of being absorbed. So
Right.
so
What about
yeah.
people who don't have any such issues? They are okay, living a good life, and they would just want to have, like, a healthy gut. What should they do? Do you have any tips for that? Maybe like drinking more water or something like that, eating not late.
Usually it comes from it's a whole package with food intolerances, and usually when you have a leaky gut, you start having food intolerances, and so you have some reactions to and symptoms from foods. So, and the more you have a leaky gut, the more you have intolerances, and the more intolerances, the more the gut becomes leaky, and the more you have it's a whole vicious circle. So the what I like to say is that we have to find out what food we don't tolerate, and usually it's really tricky to find out how you don't tolerate one food, because it's that you eat it and you have a huge reaction and you end up in the hospital. No, this is an allergy. Food intolerance is different, because it will be, for me, arthritis. Yeah. How can you see the link between gut and arthritis, right?
True.
It's not easy, and it doesn't really come in 1 hour after eating something. It can appear about 3 days later, up to 3 days later. So it's super tricky. So that's why I absolutely can't say you shouldn't eat this or this. It's super tricky.
So basically, don't listen to anything generic. Have specific advice.
Yeah, and that's the biggest lesson probably that I have learned for myself, is that everybody is different, and there's absolutely no one diet for anyone, for everyone. So
I was going to ask you my next question. That was based on the diet. Like, do you have any suggestions for a good diet for a student or a
a good diet? Yeah, you can, I can give you some tips, very general, like eat whole foods and seasonal food, local food. And also, I think I like that is the fact that some people say now there are some, I think there are certain studies about that, and for myself, I think it's really true. It can be interesting to look at your own ancestors. I mean, both my parents come from families where they used to work in the meat industry. I don't know the name in English. Sorry for that.
That's right.
Well, they were kind of like butchers. Well, so I mean, they used to eat a lot of meat, and we all eat and we love meat. Even my nephews, who are toddlers, they are obsessed with meat, and I'm really not a fishy, shellfish person. And that's something I have learned also. I have heard from different sources that it can be interesting to look where do you come from, because if on the other hand, like me, your family was really by the sea and eating a lot of fish for many, many, many years and many generations, you're probably, your genetic system will, you're probably more prone to be able to digest seafood than I am, and so I think that's something really interesting to look at, to keep in mind.
So what's your family history, and like what kind of food patterns they had? It affects you as well.
Yeah, because I know that in my family it's really, to see my toddler nephews being obsessed with meat like that. You think, well, that's probably in the genes, I guess. And so
I guess children and toddlers, they adapt a lot as well, looking around how their parents eat and what is given to them, and that's how it builds, I guess.
Yeah, there's of course there's the culture and how you are being raised by your parents, but also the fact that if your ancestors for many years, it's just that's something to keep in mind. I don't know that I'm not saying that it's a very how do you say? Can't find the words in English. Very specific science, but at least an idea.
No, I agree with you. But what you meant is having whole foods and seasonal food in your diet can be very helpful for you.
Yeah, seasonal food and local food also, because the fact is, when it comes from the other side of the planet, usually it has been, harvested when it was really not ripe, and because of they need to take into account the time to fly or
I agree.
So that's also one of the things, and it also comes from the fact that if most of the time you come back also to the gene things, that you might not be able to digest as well something that can't be grown in your own country. So yeah,
of course, right. So when you say this, are there any other kind of foods or elements that a person should avoid in their diet to keep it healthy?
Well, like I said, it all comes down to bio-individuality. So my own mother, she's a biological mother, she absolutely doesn't have the same food intolerances that I have. So even in the family, we can have different completely different intolerances. So yeah, it's really and in Chinese medicine, and I know a little bit more in Ayurveda, they're really about with the doshas. When you are Vata, Pitta or Kapha, you don't have the same diet. And I really experienced that when I first started, when my functional medicine doctor told me, well, you have to go gluten, cow dairy free, and egg free, and other things free. I was at the beginning, I was lost, and I also. First of all, I was lost. I didn't know what to eat. I was, always a baker, so I didn't know how to bake gluten, dairy, and egg-free, and so I was lost. And also, but it doesn't seem to be working because it was not, just overnight a success. So it took almost 2 years to be able to be off all medication.
Right.
So the thing is, at the beginning, I really wanted to go beyond what he was telling me, and I was making my own research, and at that time the raw food diet was really trendy in France. So I thought, okay, maybe I should eat raw foods, and It's probably, so I really, I was stressing out about that. I should eat raw food, but my intuition was telling me no. So I was really second guessing myself and stressing out about it and everything until I found out in Ayurveda that Vata, those people with a constitution Vata shouldn't eat raw food. So it was a huge relief to find that, okay, so maybe I should have trusted my intuition much more. So
there's much more in Ayurveda. We all know that if we actually follow what it says, it can be really good for us. When I ask like the foods to avoid, generally students and the people who are like me, like always at office and stuff like that, we tend to have packed food and processed food, and there is a lot of processed sugar in our meals. So many people say you should ignore them. But then again, when we talk to like health coaches like you, they say like a balance can be maintained, or maybe it's a complete no. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I am absolutely not perfect when it comes to that. Yeah, I will tell you the perfect way of doing things, of course, but sometimes I do indulge in processed food. When I'm having what we call in France apéro, which is when we get together before dinner. And it's around at 7 p.m. we have a drink, and so usually there's a bunch of processed foods like chips. In English, British English, you say crisps.
Chips.
I do sometimes. Of course, I will check that they are gluten-free. But if they are, I know it's not good food. I shouldn't indulge into that too many times a week. That's for sure. But also, like I said, what's in the plate is just small part of being healthy. Right. Because if you're with a family or gathering with friends and you are having a good time, it's also super good for your health. Having a good time is also a form of self-care.
Do you think it is other way around as well? As you said, like that's one part, but having good time with family or having a happy mood, a good mindset, or like having good functioning in your life in all the spheres. Do you think it can be other way around as well? That if you're actually eating healthy, that will also keep your mood in balance, and that will also you'll be able to enjoy more family time, which you're like mostly cranking or complaining. It can change. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so, because I have experienced it myself. Because before I changed my diet, I was kind of grumpy each time I got hungry. I mean, especially around the end of the morning before lunchtime. I would get cranky. I would feel the mood change, and and there's also a saying that usually if you have something to ask to someone, you should go ask before a good lunch rather than after the good lunch rather than before. So, but it really just went away when I changed my diet. So it definitely changed my mood.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. And to be honest, I guess it's a bit ironic because you come from France, and that's the land of cuisine, and it's really hard to avoid such food. But is there a message that you would like to give to our viewers that, okay, you should be following on these step lines, there should be few steps you should take? Any message that you would like to give?
Well, I really think that they should keep things simple, for the diet. Keep things simple, try to avoid as much as possible processed foods, go towards whole foods. And really believe that the main and the most important secret ingredient in all recipes is love.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yes. Coming
That's
all the way
probably
from France.
completely cheesy. That probably sounds completely
No, no,
cheesy, but
no. We get
yeah,
it.
yeah, so many times I hear people say,
Yeah.
I heard that just a few days ago,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
man telling me, well, each time I'm trying to make a recipe for my mother, I follow
Yeah.
the whole recipe, but it doesn't taste the same. And I'm really,
Oh
really
my God.
convinced that,
Oh
yeah,
my God.
because you don't have the
I
secret
know.
ingredient of
You
a
know what?
loving mother cooking for her kid.
Now I feel like that this is with every mother, because when I cook her recipes and she would be watching this, I'm telling you, and I say, "Oh, it's not like you," and she's like, "You didn't make it with love," and I was like, "I had love in there." But yeah, I agree with
Yeah, and
you.
I mean, you don't need to ask your mother to cook it, but you can send love vibration to your own meal, love for yourself, and
For
loving what you're
sure.
doing.
So
And
true. So
yeah,
true. I totally agree with you. Thank you so much, Pia. It was lovely having you on the show. And we had so many tips, so many things. And one thing that I love the most is everything cannot be generic, it has to be specific. And
yeah,
meal is just a
absolutely.
part of the plate. There are so many other things that you need to look at. Just healthy
Mhm.
eating won't fix your life problems. So maybe fixing that is a wholesome thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say every journey starts with one step. So
True,
just take one
true,
step and take it one step at a time,
true.
and be gentle to yourself.
Oh, that's a great message.
Don't beat yourself up anytime you go off track or you eat. No, be gentle with yourself.
True.
I
This is
think we can
important.
all. So many people are their own worst enemies. So
So true.
treat
So
yourself
true.
like you would treat the person you love the most. And
True.
so yeah, be gentle
True.
with yourself. So, and I think it's really the secret to that.
Ending the conversation on the best note that I've heard so far, that yes, be nice to yourself, because even when we start dieting or, trying to do something new, we are so hard on ourselves and we keep bashing ourselves, which is not good. Go easy, be kind, be soft.
Yeah.
And thank you again, Bia, for being here. We loved it. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah,
And
I really had a great time talking to you.
thank you. It was lovely. And the points you discussed, they were really, really amazing. And you speak with so much love. I loved it. You do. Like there
Thank you
is
so
that
much.
element in you.
Yeah, but you're absolutely glowing. You're a
Oh,
very
thank
very
you.
beautiful woman, and you have something coming from wow. You have a very beautiful. I don't know if it's aura. I don't know
Oh,
much about
thank
that, but
you.
you have
Yeah.
this vibe. It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Bia. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we collaborate sometime soon again. Till then,
Yeah.
take care and thank you for your time.
Take care. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me again. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.